Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cassie and I just wanted to say Happy New Year. I'm really excited to tell you about my sewing and knitting plans for 2022. So I'm going to share with you the 9 garments that I want to make this year. But before we get into that, if you are not yet subscribed, I would love if you do that. This is a space where I take you on my me-made clothing journey, where I thrift flip, sew, knit, all that good stuff. So I would love to have you along for the ride. Now let's get into talking about my plans and goals for my me-made clothing journey in 2022. First up on this list is a knitting project. It's the Pan cardigan from Sari Nordland. I really want to make this. I've been wanting to make it for quite a long time, actually since she even teased the pattern last year. And it's this squishy, I believe it's a half brioche or a half fisherman's rib. I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember, but it looks so squishy and comfy. It kind of reminds me of the Baba cardigans that are really popular and that I cannot afford. But I really want to try to make something like this that just looks like it will be a really solid staple in my wardrobe. I already bought the yarn. I'm going to be using Knitting for Olive, so their soft silk mohair and their super fine merino, I believe that's what they're called, in the color brown nougat, I think, nougat brown, something like that. And this is a color that I don't really reach for that much. It's brown, but it's kind of in a pinky brown sort of colorway. And I want to try experimenting, bringing in a bit more pinks and lighter browns into my wardrobe. So that is how I am kind of introducing that colorway into my wardrobe. It's also going to be a bit of a challenge because I haven't ever made a button cardigan before. I've actually only made one cardigan ever, and it was a chunky knit, so it came together really quickly. This is quite a fine knit, so I'm expecting a challenge, but I think it'll be okay. Number 2 is kind of like 2 in 1, but I really want to make one of those poofy organza dresses, the sheer silk organza dresses, and then along with it have a slip dress to wear underneath it. So 2 kind of complicated projects, and maybe 2 separate projects, but I'm envisioning them together because I have a bunch of weddings that I have to go to in the new year. Hopefully everything works out, but I can imagine wearing them together or separate. So making, the slip dress that I can wear on its own for a summer wedding, but then also having the organza overlay for the more not wintry, but the cooler months, the weddings that are in the cooler months. So I initially was black, it's gonna be black, but then part of me really wants to experiment with color, and I just love the Villanelle pink puffy organza dress. That is to me the perfect dress. So I don't know, we'll see. I haven't bought the fabric yet and kind of eyeing what's out there, but that is dream for me. Number 3 is a project that I have talked about a ton and is honestly carrying over from last year because I never got to make them. It's the Harleen overalls in a hickory stripe denim. I already own the fabric. It's from Merchant Mills. I love it. It's so nice, but it's in storage, so it's probably gonna, not make an appearance until a little bit into the new year, at least when we settle into our place in Montreal, whenever that is. We don't have a date currently. So that is really high on my list to make, but again, I have to wait, so I'm just gonna put it to rest until I have the access to the materials again. But I'm really excited about this project. It's very workwear inspired, very vintage workwear. You've seen the Oshkosh, or even Dickies, I believe, has them. So yeah, there's lots of modern renditions of this now, but to make my own, I think would be really special. And plus the pattern matching opportunities are so fun with the stripes. Number 4 is the Blanca flight suit from Closet Core Patterns. This has been something that I've kind of toyed with wanting to make or not, but I ultimately decided I do want to make a boiler suit. I've owned a few in the past and I've always, got rid of them because I just felt like they didn't fit into my wardrobe. But I think it was because they were too heavy, and I run naturally quite warm, but I wanted to see about making it in a linen so that I can layer it in the colder months, but also have it, for the warmer months also. So I'm looking at linen, not 100% sure what that's gonna look like yet. I kind of naturally am like leaning into that sort of indigo blue. I would love to make it in a corduroy, but I just know for me it's not realistic. But I also love the black linen with like a white top stitching. I think that's so pretty. So I haven't really come to my like final idea of what that will look like yet, but I know I definitely want to make that pattern for sure. Number 5 is the Dawn jean. Again, another project that has carried over from last year. I want to make the double front jeans inspired by Rudy Jude, and I believe Jessie Cam and a few other designers who have made the double front jeans, which with the top stitching, very again workwear inspired is the vibe. But I really need to make the toile first before I make the actual double front jeans, because I don't want to cut into my really nice, super nice denim. So I am going to make the toile at some point. I believe I have the fabric here and I've cut out the pieces, so it's like ready to go. I just have to, everything is in boxes and a mess here, so I have to try to find it. And I think that is what, if I can find it, then I'm going to try to work on that toile for January, because it's jeans January as the sewing community has touted it. So that is going to be the plan. Dawn jeans, coming for you finally. What a project. I just been trying to make these for probably a full year. Number 6 is sweater number 15. I have a few other sort of knitting projects, but I'm putting the bigger, more ambitious ones into this Make 9, and sweater number 15 is definitely one of those projects. I've heard it's not challenging, it's just maybe a little bit tedious, especially with the cables, and I have knitted with cables in the past, but not for like probably 5 years. It's been a long time. So I think what I will do is maybe make her vest. She has a vest pattern that I think would be a nice like accessible try at cables, but smaller scale. And then for sweater number 15, get really into it. And I want to buy a really nice yarn. I think I'll probably do knitting for Olive again, because honestly it's so nice, or Sandnes Garn maybe. But yeah, I think that's going to be the way to go. Maybe Sandnes Garn, because I haven't knit with Sandnes Garn yet, and I've heard a lot of things about it in the sewing community or knitting community. So now sweater number 15, super beautiful project. I love the bell sleeves. I think in like a bold color would be really cool. She shows it in like this bright green, emerald green, and I think that is like, that's a dream. Maybe in like a bright pink or something. But also then I kind of want it to be neutral, because it's like, if you're making something so special, you want to be able to wear it all the time, but maybe it would also be better if it was something that really special in a special color. I don't know. Anyways, that's going to be for future me, and probably will not come until the later part of 2022, because like I said, I want to make the vest first before I get into the whole sweater, because it's a lot of cables. Like, look at all those cables. There's so many cables. Number 7 is a linen or a cotton suit. I believe I'm getting a gifted cotton plaid. That's the word. So I would love to try to make a suit out of that, but ideally a like light linen suit, maybe pink or green or blue, one of those 3 colors, I think would be super fun. I just love the idea of like a summer suit, but also something that you can wear together or separate. And I think for me, when I say suit, I mean more of like a workwear kind of set. You've seen them from like the slow fashion brands before, like Alana Cone and, you know, quite a few others. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I'm also open to doing like a proper sort of suit. Like, I have the patterns from my Building the Pattern book from Named Clothing that I think would be good to do like the blazer and the trousers. So I don't know, maybe the workwear project is another project on its own, and I can kind of have fun with that too. But the suit, to like make a proper blazer and trousers, I think would be a cool and interesting like challenge for me that I think I'm ready to kind of take on. And so that would likely be like a spring project. I can see it, because I would want to do it in like a linen or like a light cotton, but probably linen, because like linen is the best. Number 8 is a little bit off of the sort of like general plan, but I'd really love to make a leather bag or a leather knapsack. Nothing huge, I don't think, but I don't know, I'm really open to suggestions. If you have any, let me know in the comments. I've never made a bag before. I've never made I made a tote, but I haven't ever made like a bag. And so I like the idea of doing like a sling bag or like a structured half moon bag, but I've never worked with leather, so like I don't know how complicated it is. I've heard it's like tough on your hands with the needle, but other than that, I think I'm like really excited to try that project. Ideally using secondhand leather or reclaimed leather, something that, you know, I really want it to be more sustainably minded. So that's kind of the plan with that. But yeah, if you have any suggestions for bag making kits or anything like that, please let me know in the comments. I'm really open to trying something out. Okay, lastly, number 9, Tessuti Fabrics Richmond coat. It doesn't necessarily have to be this coat, but I think it probably will be. I love the long, straight design of it. It's like slightly oversized, but not comically oversized, and I really like, I can't do something that's too big. It just really overwhelms my small frame, and I'm quite petite, so it just looks like it's too much fabric. But I think this coat is like the perfect design for me, and I'm kind of playing with like doing like a black super sleek version with like a nice like pop of color lining, or just like going for like a statement coat. And I want to do it properly so that it's warm. I want to use Kasha lining, which is flannel backed satin, so that's super warm, and then also using a Thinsulate batting layer so that it is like extra cozy warm. Because honestly, like I just hate the idea of wearing coats for like a month or two. I want to be able to make a super warm coat and also have it be stylish. So that's kind of my goal for that one. I was gonna make it this now, but I want to think it out more. I want to source the right fabric, I want to source the right lining, the buttons. I really want it to be intentional and slow, and so I think I'm gonna wait until the later part of the year, and then my skills will kind of be up to par as well. So that is everything that I want to make this year. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. If you want to stay up to date on everything that I make, I post pretty regularly on TikTok and on Instagram. Instagram is where you'll see all of my finished projects more regularly, so that's a place to be if you want to see those photos. Otherwise, thank you for being on YouTube. Again, if you're not yet subscribed, I would love to have you as part of this community. And if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. I will see you next time. Happy New Year, and see you in the next video.